The sun rose gently over the hills of Galilee. Crowds from every direction made their way toward Jesus. Families, elders, children, fishermen, the poor and the weary, all walked with hope burning quietly in their hearts. They had heard of his miracles, they had seen his compassion. And today, they longed to hear his voice again. They traveled for hours under the growing heat. Some leaned on walking sticks, others carried sleeping children. Dust clung to their feet, yet joy filled their steps, because they knew being near Jesus was worth any cost. When Jesus saw the massive crowd gathering, he did not turn them away. He stepped onto a hillside, raised his hands, and began teaching words that stirred their souls. Every heart was drawn toward him, toward his warmth, his authority, his love. Seeing the crowd swell beyond thousands, Jesus asked his disciples to organize them in groups. Circles formed across the hillside, hundreds of groups sitting upon the soft grass, waiting, listening, trusting. It was as if the entire valley held its breath. But as hours passed, hunger crept in. Children clutched their stomachs. Families whispered anxiously. The disciples felt the weight of the need. How can we feed so many? They wondered. They had no answer. Then Andrew arrived with a small boy. In the child's hands, a simple bundle: 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish. The boy's eyes were unsure, but filled with faith. He offered what little he had, not knowing he was placing a miracle in Jesus' hands. The disciples watched, confused, wondering how such a small portion could help. Jesus lifted the loaves and fish toward heaven. The wind quieted. The crowd fell still. Every eye turned toward him, and with deep gratitude, he blessed the food, trusting his Father, knowing what was about to unfold. As Jesus broke the bread, something extraordinary began to happen. A loaf became 2, 2 became 4, and the baskets in the disciples' hands grew heavy. They stared in disbelief. A miracle had begun quietly, beautifully, without a single flash of lightning. Jesus said, "Distribute it among the people." And they did. Every time a disciple reached into a basket, it was full, again and again and again. The miracle poured out endlessly. God's abundance flowed like a river across the hillside. Laughter spread through the crowd. Children ate joyfully. Elders wept with gratitude. Families shared food with overflowing hearts. On that vast hillside, 5 loaves and 2 fish became a feast for more than 5,000 people. When everyone had eaten their fill, a quiet peace settled over the land. People sat with full stomachs and full hearts. They knew they had witnessed something divine, something that could only come from the hand of God. The disciples gathered the leftovers, 1 basket, 2, 3, until 12 baskets overflowed with bread. More remained than what they had started with. It was a miracle of abundance, of generosity, of God's limitless provision. As the sun began to set over the Sea of Galilee, Jesus walked among the crowd, touching, blessing, comforting. The sky glowed like fire, reflected on the gentle waters below. And the people knew they had not only eaten bread, they had received life. Because the one standing before them was not just a teacher, he was the bread of life himself. And his love was enough for all. If this video has touched you, then subscribe, like, and share. God bless you.